Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. You know, in a free society, you should be allowed to make a fool of yourself, and you can make whatever claims you want, as long as you are able to, support them with some evidence. Even if you can't support them, you still can make the claims. I mean, otherwise, we will never talk about anything because we don't know everything. So if I'm going to talk, I think these glasses are good, and I'm going to give you three reasons why they're good. Someone else can give me 15 reasons that are not good. That means I should never say my opinion, assessment on these ones to the extent of my knowledge. No, I should say it, because neither that person who gives me 15 reasons why these are bad doesn't know all the reasons. So then that means he should shut the fuck up as well, right? Well, let's put it this way. We will never have, maybe not never, but most likely, we will probably not have all the information and knowledge regarding a subject. There's always something else over there that we might not know. Does that mean that we should not talk about it? And the person who knows something more than us should tell us to shut up because we don't know everything, and should call us name, or maybe, put us in a, inferiority position just by calling us names or calling us stupid. No, I don't think so. I mean, you can do that, but that tells a lot what kind of person you are, which is a person who tries to shut up other people and let only his version fly around. So that person cannot be an open-minded, as we are required to be. Open-mindedness does not mean accepting every stupidity. Is being open-minded into listening to that, verifying it, do some study about it, and make your own determination. That's open-mindedness. It's not, oh, you're not open-minded because you don't accept what I say. Well, let me verify it first, okay? I'm going to listen to you, but you should listen to me as well. All right, not with looking down on people. Now, we have here an issue. We have the Ukrainian ambassador to United Nations, and is making some remarks on Pink Floyd, Roger Waters, the Pink Floyd co-founder. If you are aware of what happened, Roger Waters was invited by Russia to speak in front of a United Nations Security Council meeting and give his take on things. That was his assessment. Good or bad? Limited as it was, as it's my interpretation of facts, limited as yours it is, because we don't know it all. And there's nobody who knows it all but our. Okay, so let's move back to this. So, what did Mr. Roger Waters said? He said that something that made people, Ukrainians obviously, tell him that he's an idiot, basically. That's my assessment of what the Ukrainian ambassador said, and I will read you the statement and tell me if you understand it differently. So Roger Waters said the Russian attack on Ukraine was illegal, but it was not unprovoked. So he said, yes, it was wrong, illegal, but it's not like it was unprovoked. So this, you cannot deviate from the mantra, because if you deviate, you're going to be called this and that and banned and canceled and all that. But he doesn't really care, this guy, because this guy is who he is. And co-founder of a famous British rock band. The problem is he is allowed to make a fool of himself, as the ambassador is allowed. Okay? The problem is the ambassador thinks that he knows everything, and this guy doesn't know anything. Why? Because he disagrees with Waters' opinion or assessment. Therefore, he's saying, okay, that's your opinion, that's fine. No, he tells Waters something, I think, that shows who the ambassador actually is. Because with this kind of attitude, you're not a open-minded intellectual, let's put it this way. Business or diplomat. Business Insider, Ukrainian UN diplomat tells Pink Floyd co-founder Roger Waters to keep to, and I'm quoting, strumming guitar, end quote, after pushing Ukraine misinformation during council meeting. He said his opinion and he's not pushing anything. That was his opinion. He can have it in a free world, can he? And misinformation is when he doesn't know what he's talking about, right? And he puts false information out there. Again, do you know everything, the Ukrainian UN diplomat? No, you don't. As I said, I made a case so far. Do everybody know everything? No. Anyway, but they expect this guy to know everything. So Pink Floyd co-founder Roger Waters spoke on behalf of Russia at the UN Security Council Wednesday. He regurgitated, this is Business Insider, my friends, is not, right here, it's not, and it's from February, it's not Ukrainska Pravda or New Voice of Ukraine or Ukraine Forum or Kiev Independent. No, this is... Anyway, he regurgitated, you already know that he's the bad dude here, about the Ukraine war, calling it illegal in the same breath. Over the last few years, Waters has circulated baseless theories about Russia, Syria, and Ukraine. Baseless. That means you can't bring any arguments. Well, why don't you, my friends, think for yourselves and you determine for yourself and let Business Insider don't tell you what he baseless or not baseless. Why don't you go and check it for yourselves? Not what these guys are going to give you, okay? Because they already said that he regurgitated. So obviously this is a hit piece here, right here. Pink Floyd, co-founder, was called out for making conspiratorial comments about the war on Ukraine. That was his opinion. After he testified at the UN Security Council on behalf of Russian diplomats, phoning into the meeting from Swiss, again, this right here, this little paragraph or sentence is going to be another hit piece against this guy. Phoning into the meeting from a Swiss mountaintop chalet. That means he's a rich bastard being over there in the mountaintop, having fun with ladies of the night, alcohol, drugs, and whatever. Waters said he was representing, and I'm quoting, 4 billion brothers and sisters, end quote. That means, yeah, you live like John Lennon. You know, he was for... give all you have and imagine all the, can you imagine? No, can you imagine? But he was, the communist millionaire. Yeah, how the many communists are. So they say, hey, you see here, he's just a hypocrite. He's a millionaire and he's representing 4 billion brothers and sisters who are living in poverty. Well, that's a point over there, but you know exactly by this and by he regurgitated conspiracies and baseless and all that, you understand what Business Insider is doing. In sharing Russia's position on its war. Now, you say 4 billion brothers, which is nearing the 1 year mark according to The Guardian. Well, if you go by the votes, I don't know, maybe you are. Because if you go by the votes, what is the meaning here? He represents 4 billion brothers and sisters in sharing Russia's position on war in Ukraine. Probably he takes it by countries. He takes the countries that condemned the war and the countries that didn't. And I don't know. I don't even know. But anyway, I think this was just to discredit him. But in reality, Business Insider tells us now what we're supposed to, because they know they are the holders, the protectors of reality and truth. But in reality, Waters has spent years trafficking misinformation about the wars in Ukraine and Syria, and at the meeting he was ceremoniously called out. Ceremoniously. Remember that word. That's nice and cordially and so on. Out by Ukraine's UN representative. Ceremonially. That means, civilized and all that. Now, this is what Waters said. The invasion of Ukraine by the Russian Federation was illegal. I condemn it in the strongest possible terms, end quote. Waters said per The Guardian. And he continues, and I'm quoting, also, the Russian invasion of Ukraine was not unprovoked, he said. So I condemn the provocateurs in the strongest political possible terms, end quote. Now, this is unacceptable, obviously. Now, Waters' reference to, and I'm quoting, provocateurs in Ukraine followed in line with misinformation. Okay, boop. And now I'm going to see what what's his name? The Ukrainians are saying about Waters' statements. So at the bottom of this, we have what the ambassador, the Ukrainian ambassador, Sergei, it's not Sergei anymore, it's Sergei, Kislitsia, didn't buy Waters' latest plea for propaganda. Again, and I'm quoting what the Ukrainian ambassador, remember, courteous answer, whatever that word was it courteous? That they said he used ceremoniously. All right, answers, and see how ceremoniously that answer is. And I'm quoting, how sad for his former fans to see him accepting the role of just another brick in the wall of Russian disinformation and propaganda. Okay, end quote. Nothing too much. But then he said, who also said, per The Guardian, and I'm quoting the ambassador's ceremonious answer, keep strumming the guitar, Mr. Waters. Okay, again, what do you think that means? Keep strumming the guitar, Mr. Waters. After all this article, do you think that meant keep making great music, you're a great guy, buddy? After what he said before? Is that what he said? How sad for his former fans to see him accepting the role of just another brick in the wall of Russian disinformation propaganda. And then he said, just do your little act of strumming the guitar. So this is like, put yourself always in a context. Let's say you are a plumber, and let's say I am a sociologist, or I'm a graduate of a foreign policy degree. I got one, okay? All right, I'm political science, and we talk. And at one point you say something, and I say something, and then I disagree with what you say. But I'm not going to give you, okay, let's discuss. I think this is what I think, based on the evidence which I provide to you, is why I think you might be, mistaken. But please proceed and give me your arguments. Why? How did you come to this conclusion? How did you reach it? I'm open to hear it, and we use arguments and counter-arguments. I'm not saying, well, that's dumb, you're stupid, you don't know what you're talking about. Or I say, you know what, Mr. whomever, Gigi, you know what, you're just a plumber. Why don't you just stick to plumbing? What does that tell you? How would you take it? Imagine you go, let's say, to a school meeting, and how do you call it, a school council meeting or something, or meeting where you just talk in front of the school board meeting, and you go over there and you go and say your piece for 3 minutes, or it depends how much time they give you, and then after, when you're done and you expose your, they say, you know what, Mister, why don't you stick to whatever you do, bricklaying, or I don't know, to your house building, or I don't know, driving your truck or something. How is that? How do you think that is? That's an insult, isn't it? Because based on the previous statement that this ambassador made, he thinks he knows everything, and obviously he thinks that he disagrees with Waters, and that's just fine. But there's a way to disagree. That's a classy way, and it's a way of saying, you know what, you should not even talk. You go over there, you're a pipe layer, okay? You drive a truck, okay, or semi-truck, whatever you do. You're just over there a carpenter, you're just a plumber. Let me do the intellectual things here. You don't know what you're talking about. How would you take that? And besides, I'm trying to make you shut up, basically, by insulting you and make you, basically telling you you're stupid. You shouldn't even talk. Go to what you do best. So that little weasel of the ambassador, I think he's a tyrant. How would you call a person who would like to shut you up by insulting you like that? That's meant to make you feel embarrassed because you're stupid, because he said so. And he knows what he's talking about. Obviously, he's an ambassador. Now remember, how do we know things? We know things by the level of our IQ, which is some acquired and received from nature versus nurture. Remember that one? Okay. So some of it is from a certain kind of, and the other one is from knowledge. How do we acquire knowledge? By reading, by getting information. And if we're dumb, we don't get it, you can read how much you want. The information, knowledge goes like this, bow, bow, but we're not dumb. So the information goes in. Now if I read 5 books and I have an IQ, let's say, of 100, which is average for someone like me, according to the studies, not, no. So let's say I read 10 books and you, let's say, 120 IQ, and you read 3 books. I still might have more information than you have, even if the IQ is different. But again, if I read more, I should have more information, more knowledge. Now, how do you get a degree? A bachelor degree, for instance, then go to master and then go to PhD. By reading 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, whatever books for what? 10 classes. You need 10 classes for a degree here in America. So that means if I take, let's say, psychology, I have to have 10 courses in psychology fulfilled. 10. That means 10, I've been here to college, about one, maximum 2 books. Could be like this or could be like this, in each this. So that means I would have about 20 books at the most that I had to read. That's all. And I have a bachelor in psychology. Then if I want to go for a master, I have to pick my narrow field of psychology, okay? From a wide one, I'm going to go deeper, and I will pick a certain kind of mass psychology or group psychology or whatever I pick. That is not this, is this. And I'm going to have about 40 books plus about 2 other PhDs that are going to be my mentors. They're going to be the ones that are going to help me. Now, if masters goes together with PhD, like goes in from instance in sociology in some departments, you do it together, master and PhD together. So you have about 52 books that you have to read, bring out information, and you have mentors, people that help you with that. And you put together a dissertation. And you come with this, which could be 100 pages, 80 pages, 300 pages. You come with a dissertation on your narrow little thing that you will supposedly know a lot. About that little thing. About the rest, you know how much you knew from other things, okay? From your bachelor's degree. So basically you are trained on that narrow thing. That's what's a PhD. You can be, I'm PhD of international relations. Yes, you can be. But you didn't read more than 52 or 50 for your dissertation. You can read 3,000. Now take a basement guy who stays in the basement the whole day. And he's have an IQ, let's say 120. He's good. And he's reading 3,000 books on, let's say, psychology. Shouldn't he know more than that guy who did his dissertation on 50 books or 100 books, or he read 300 books? But the other ones read 3,000? He doesn't have a PhD degree, he's in a basement, but he read 10 times more than the guy with a PhD. Which one should know more? So when someone comes with a paper telling you, or say, hey, you know what, I have a degree here in psychology, man, or I have a degree here in construction, I'm a PE, professional engineer, in architecture, or something like that. They say, oh my God, yeah, I don't know how a house looks like. I don't know as much as you know, but I can say certain things at my level, okay? But again, with sociology or psychology or anybody else, let the person speak. Talk to them, bring arguments. Don't tell him, you can't know more than I, because this is the degree. You don't have any degree on that one. You have a degree in engineering. How can you possibly know anything in psychology? Maybe I read 50 times more than you did. Or do you think that maybe your professors poured in your head information, or those peer-reviewed narrow books that you have to, because everything you use in that little bracket of 52 books to make a dissertation has to be peer-reviewed. Peer review, you know what it is? I accept yours, you accept me, it's acceptable. You go in circle like dogs in heat. You can't take from outside because that's unacceptable, not peer-reviewed. That means you have a very narrow knowledge about that such subject that is accepted by others. So you will never look outside of the box. I'm exaggerating here and there, but not to the extent that I don't make a point in this. So anyway, you have this ambassador. I think he's just a narrow-minded with narrow-minded individual with a lot of tyrannical inclinations. That's my assessment of this guy from whatever he said. And Business Insider, I don't have to say anything more about it because you know exactly what's going on. Even if Waters says something stupid, is that how you do? It's like you have a child. The child tells you, this is what I know about something, and say, you're stupid. Just go and play with your little dingy-lingy. Is that what you're going to say? Or go and play with your dolls. You do. That's what you do. I mean, what does that tell you about you? That's the whole point. You lose respect, you lose authority, you lose everything. You show who you are. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.